This is CBC Vancouver News.
Grim numbers, grim reality.
Here they only had places for people at night, nothing for during the day. And this winter there's going to be more homeless.
Metro Vancouver's homeless count hits a record high. Plus, new rules for where people can use drugs in BC.
This approach doesn't mean that you have to give up your park. Doesn't mean that you have to avoid the bus stop.
The proposed changes and concerns. And Vancouver's restaurant scene has earned another Michelin star.
I think it's our commitment to, sustainability. We have deep connections with growers.
Bringing the city's total to 9. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Janella Hamilton. The numbers are stark. The reality is grim. A record number of people are experiencing homelessness in and around Metro Vancouver, the largest measured uptick since 2005.
This is the first point of count coming outside of the pandemic, and we know that there's been serious increase in communities around North America.
Greater Vancouver's 2023 point-in-time homeless count identified a 32% increase in people experiencing homelessness compared to the previous count in 2020. The cities of Surrey, Vancouver, and Burnaby saw the largest changes in the total number of people, and the number of youth, seniors, and LGBTQ people who are unhoused has also increased. We sent our Leanne Young to find out why so many are on the street. She spoke with an advocate who helps those struggling to put a roof over their heads to try to find light in some truly hopeless situations.
We're here in the city of Vancouver, and that's where about half of the people who are homeless in this region stay every night. And based on the homeless count, that's more than 2,400 people a night. And organizers believe there are far more people than that. I'm about to meet up with Marcy Jacobs. She's a volunteer with the Aboriginal Front Door Society, and everyone around here knows her for helping people out with their subsidized housing applications, and they call her Mama Marcy. Marcy just sent me a selfie. I love this. We're gonna go find her. Hi, Mama Marcy. How are you? Good. Nice to see you. Hi, I'm Leanne.
I've been coming out at 10 o'clock, midnight, and 5 o'clock in the morning.
To try and get people to fill out housing applications?
No, just talking to them, telling them that, that it's getting cold soon. Just a friendly reminder that we need to get our housing applications in. I have socks here for people. Yeah. And I hand out cigarettes as they do their application. Here, socks?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
How many applications do you tend to, get filled out a day, you find?
The least I do is 5. The most I've ever done was 30.
And then are they ending up in long-term housing, or what kind of housing are you finding they're ending up in?
Sometimes it's just the SROs, but some of them are happy to have a roof over their head.
Yeah.
It's the elders that I'm worried about right now.
The place we were renting, the owner sold the house. So since then we've been looking for housing, nothing. No phone calls.
Where were you living?
We're living on Dumfries, past Victoria.
And how much were you paying for rent at your place in Dumfries?
On Dumfries was $1,400 for a 1-bedroom suite.
Okay, and that was just like a private landlord that you were seeing?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
And now it's
And you haven't been able to find something comparable?
Nothing. Yeah. What I'm worried about is my husband.
Because
He has cancer, 1 kidney removed, and now he has to wear a tube. So I have to be there with him all the time. I'm just stressed out, thinking this, thinking about that. And my husband take care of, He's a dear, but what can we do? Thinking about groceries and stuff. Oh
and
my God.
All the prices of that's going up too.
And so Prime Minister asked for big food markets not to raise the prices up. How about housing, rental housing? Where are the people going to cook their food? It's looks funny, but it's not.
Because I was going to ask you, when you hear politicians say, we're building, it'll be ready in 3 years.
Yeah, in
what do
3
you
years,
think?
I said. I told my husband maybe we should move back home where my father owns all the land, you know, in Canada First Nations. Years ago, they gave all this land to First Nations, like for trapline and stuff like that.
And where would
Yukon, maybe we'll move up there and live
But your
in the
kids
winter.
are here.
Yeah, I know. I got a son and daughter, grandkids.
Right.
You know, they can't even help. There's no places to get rental, right? Yeah. Unbelievable. If it wasn't for Marcy, hopefully we get a place. Other than that, I'm just stressed out.
What happened to your tent?
The
City?
took it. Everything they took. Now we're starting all over again. They said that we could get housing, me and my daughter. I said, no, I am not taking no housing until my son gets something. Because why should he be outside and be nice and cozy inside? So they don't give him help. They don't even give him a chance to work. And they should at least give him 2 weeks to train if they're good at it. Yeah.
You had a home at one point?
Yes, I did.
When was this?
This was a while ago. It was a year ago or something like that.
Okay, and so how long have you been homeless now?
For just about a year.
And so since the year that you've been, without a
Hey,
home,
don't touch my stuff up there.
Thank you.
So in the year now you've been without a home.
Yeah.
Where have you been staying?
Here. This is my home. Sometimes when it rains, I go in a shelter, try to make sure he's really cozy.
Hang on a second.
And I don't really like to go in here. I don't care if it's raining. I would stay with him.
Over the last 2 years, do you feel like the number of people who are experiencing homelessness, have things changed? Like, what have you noticed?
Well, things have changed because of probably the drugs.
Because of
People are not capable of getting housing because their addiction.
Do you feel like COVID changed things?
Yes,
How
big
so?
time.
How so?
Things are not, everything is closed, still closed on people.
Oh, a lot of things are still
Yeah,
closed.
yeah.
Okay, so services aren't there.
There's no services. My dream is that we have a parkade around the corner here, and my dream is that we have cover for during the day this winter for people. Last year they only had places for people at night, nothing for during the day. And this winter there's going to be more homeless.
So needs to be more help.
Yes, needs to be a lot of help.
All right. Thank you, Mama Marcy.
Thank you.
Well, as you heard, more than 2,400 people experiencing homelessness were counted in Vancouver. It's the first count since the pandemic. Joining us for a broader look is our municipal affairs reporter, Justin McElroy. Justin, what exactly has changed in the last 3 years?
Things have gotten worse, to put it bluntly, Janella. As you said, 3 years since the last homeless count was done, the last one right before the pandemic. And during that time, we've seen an increase in people talking about perceived homelessness on the street and all of the different mental health and crime concerns that have happened since then. Elections changing governments in many cities as well, partly on this issue. And now we have, for the first time, quantitative data of what's changed between now and 2020. And as you can see, Vancouver, a record high number of people counted, more than 2,400. And in terms of where we're seeing trend lines as well, with a greater percentage of things happening, we're seeing a greater percentage of people who are homeless saying that they've been homeless for more than a year, a greater percentage of people saying that mental health and addiction issues are part of the reason that they're homeless as well, and a greater percentage of people who say they are seniors compared to decades gone by. So it's now up to municipal governments to look at all of this information, to look at the surveys done from the thousands of people and see what information they can get there that can help them have better policy responses to try and get these numbers down and to help these people who are on the streets.
But this count goes beyond Vancouver. It looks at our entire region. Is it different stories in different regions and cities?
Well, it's an interesting point, and it's interesting data because so often we talk about Vancouver, the city of Vancouver, when we talk about the homeless issue in the region. But there's lots and lots of people who live outside of Vancouver and Metro Vancouver, and there's lots of those people who are homeless. If you take a look at this chart, for all of Metro Vancouver, the homeless count has been going up at an even greater rate than the city of Vancouver. You can see a near doubling between 2014 and 2023, a 32% increase over the last 3 years, nearly 5,000 in total. And when you break it down on a municipal level, you can see in Surrey, there was an increase of 400 homeless people in the last 3 years. That's a higher number than even in the city of Vancouver. In Richmond, there was a near doubling of people who are homeless on the street. Now, it's a smaller number, of course, than in Vancouver, but it is noticeable in those communities. And it really drives home the point that when we talk about homelessness in Vancouver, it's not just a city issue, it is a regional one. And it'll be interesting to see the responses from politicians in the weeks and months ahead.
Some really eye-opening numbers there, Justin. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Janella.
A fiery crash between two commercial trucks has shut down Highway 1 south of Cache Creek. The two trucks collided shortly before 7 o'clock this morning. A video posted online appears to show a transport truck and a dump truck with the dump truck in flames and debris scattered across the road. RCMP say one of the drivers is missing and they're not sure if they're hurt. Highway 1 remains closed in both directions as crews continue to clean up. A detour is available. The BC government has introduced legislation to ban illicit drug use in many more public spaces. Mayors across BC have been calling for tighter rules since decriminalization was brought in January. Mira Baines has more on the changes and concerns.
Drug use will be prohibited at parks, beaches, and sports fields.
The new legislation is aimed at striking a balance between harm reduction and public concerns with open drug use. Premier David Eby says they don't want drug users to fear arrest.
And to reassure communities that this approach doesn't mean that you have to give up your park. Doesn't mean that you have to avoid the bus stop. Doesn't mean that you have to give up your business in a downtown core.
Last month, people were banned from using illicit drugs within 15 meters of places where children might be, like playgrounds, spray parks, or wading pools. Now the government is adding more public spaces to that list. The bill would prohibit illicit drug use within 6 meters of all building entrances, bus stops, parks, beaches, and sports fields. Some drug users are very concerned.
I've used it in public in the past in the hopes that if I overdosed and fell down, somebody would call an ambulance for me, because there just isn't overdose protection sites all over the province.
The government says the legislation is an important tool for police to maintain public safety.
Police were very clear. They're not interested in criminalizing. What they wanted was a tool to be able to get people to move on and to be able to have an interaction with them, to direct them to appropriate services.
Some mayors say the changes are sorely needed.
We need the folks in our community, the residents and the business owners, to hold that compassion so that they can help people who need help. But some of them are feeling threatened because they've also been the victims of assault, the victims of break-in, and they don't see a way through that.
But Attrill says communities like hers still need more resources to treat people with mental health and drug addiction issues. The official opposition, BC United, says the rules ought to have been in place before decriminalization was approved. Mira Baines, CBC News, Victoria.
Some BC families say change is urgently needed to fix our broken mental health system. It's the reason two Vancouver Island women say they formed a nonprofit society so others don't die like their brother. As Belle Puri reports, families who have lost loved ones to mental illness say there's a lethal crack in care.
James Zimmer was a talented carpenter and a son and a brother. In February, he took his own life minutes after he was discharged from psychiatric care at Royal Jubilee Hospital. No one told James' family that he had been released from involuntary care. Today, they brought their message to the legislature.
We need you to be the leaders you have set out to be by actioning urgent changes that are needed.
Existing rules clearly state family must be told when a patient is being discharged from mental health care. The BC Mental Health Act stipulates facilities must give notice to a near relative of a patient immediately after discharging the patient. No permission is required from the patient if a primary caregiver is actively involved in their care. A lack of compliance with the regulations has become a disturbing trend. James's story is not unique. Aaron Samuel was a successful BC entrepreneur, a young father and a son. In 2021, he killed himself days after he was released from involuntary psychiatric care at Lions Gate Hospital. Despite 8 calls in 5 days to the hospital, Aaron's family was excluded from his care and recovery plans.
So I'd like to know what can be done to strengthen existing regulations to ensure that when family members come into care, that their family and friends are notified and involved.
Family questions about why the rules are not being enforced have remained unanswered.
Will the minister make the necessary policy changes so other families don't have to experience the premature loss of a loved one?
And what we continue to do is adapt clinical standards to ensure that they can fully involve families as much as absolutely possible.
James Zimmer's family has formed a non-profit society. Through Connect to Protect, the hope is to push for more supportive and effective mental health crisis response care.
I know that nothing can bring James back.
The horn, they say, is an SOS call to government in a bid to turn anguish into an opportunity to advocate for change. Belle Puri, CBC News, Vancouver.
Vancouver's restaurant scene has earned another Michelin star, bringing the city's total to 9.
With 1 Michelin star,
The honor was awarded to Japanese restaurant Okeya Kyujiro at a ceremony tonight. The restaurant, which has a location also in Montreal, opened its Yaletown location just over a year ago. It serves food omakase style, meaning the meal is determined by the chef. The Michelin Guide described dining at the restaurant as a memorable show from start to finish, serving quality seasonal fish with careful attention to detail. The event also honored returning Michelin star restaurants.
I think it's our commitment to, sustainability. We have deep connections with growers. We follow seasonal ingredients very, very closely. Like, for example, our next menu is going to be based on chicories and radicchio. So I think that's a key point of what Michelin is about these days is, sustainability and locality.
Vancouver's Michelin Guide now has a total of 77 establishments. The capital city of BC is winning laurels, rated one of the best small towns in the world. We will have the details when we come back. Thanks for watching our commercial-free live stream. A group of young Canadian students are speaking Gaelic to the world. The kids in Cape Breton are giving voice to a new animated online series that introduces people to the language. Amy McNeil has more.
This is Talking Planet, a series that uses common Gaelic phrases which help people learn the language. There are 5 characters that teach, and those voices? Well, they are all children that go to Rankin School of the Narrows. One of them is Malcolm McKenzie, who plays Momo.
He takes a bath. He hates baths. He's a cat, so he hates baths.
Animator Caddy Catlow is the creator of the series. She says she always wanted to help children learn new languages.
This one's my pet project, I think. I mean, I've spent 25 years animating other people's stories, and, you do your job and you invested in it. But I've just loved language ever since I was, 6 or 7. Just always wanted to do some language things. And this is the one project I did myself that is all my interests in one big package.
She says having videos like Talking Planet accessible especially to children, helps promote and grow the Gaelic language. The series has even been shown worldwide, including at schools in Scotland. Theron O'Hanley's favorite part of playing Pip?
Lappy. I get to share it with my friends, and I get to share voices.
Teachers at the Rankin School helped match the voice actors to their characters. Their music room, which is also their Gaelic room, was transformed into a recording studio. That made the kids more comfortable recording their voices, even when they had to repeat their lines.
We were very excited that she wanted to feature our student voices in her now worldwide project. It really brings Cape Breton Gaelic and Gaelic from the Iona area to a worldwide stage, which is very nice in this new age Gaelic world.
Talking Planet is currently on YouTube, and a new series in Mi'kmaq is underway. Amy McNeil, CBC News, Iona.
Well, call it huge bragging rights for the capital. With its heritage charm, oceanfront parks, and spectacular vistas, Victoria has been named the world's best small city. Condé Nast Traveler says BC's capital city captured high honors in its annual Reader's Choice Awards of top cities. The magazine says the popular Empress Hotel is bucket list worthy, and it notes Victoria's reputation for offering a proper high tea in many of its restaurants and hotels.
This is actually voters from over 500,000, Condé Nast readers. So it's really, really credible. It's, it's a large sample size. And it's real travelers, people who are passionate about travel. So that's wonderful news for us.
Victoria ranked ahead of San Sebastian in Spain and San Miguel in Mexico in the top 3. Not to be outdone, of course, Vancouver ranked 8th on the list of top 10 big cities in the world. And here we have a beautiful look at the sunset this evening over at White Rock Beach. Darius will have your full forecast coming up next.
Chugga, children around the park again. I chugga through the forest on my chugga track. My wheels are flying freely, my stag is black as black. That man is the conductor. He wears a trainman's hat. In fact, the fat conductor sits on my chugga back. Do you think that I'm a choo-choo? Do you think that I'm a beaut? Well, blow my whistle. Hear me too. I'm a choo-choo. Choo-choo train, choo-choo, I'm a choo-choo, coming round the track again. Here I go! Then the conductor blows my whistle, rings my brassy bell. Time to cross the bridge into the tunnel, I can tell. It goes dark and dark and darker. back to the station, Redwood Station, home sweet home, always the same. Then it's time to take more children around the park again. Woo! Do you think that I'm a choo-choo? Do you think that I'm a beaut? Well, blow my whistle, give me two. I'm a choo-choo, choo-choo. I'm a choo-choo train, choo-choo. I'm a choo-choo, coming round the track again. Choo.
We're sharing really important information with the public, and I feel like this is exactly what our job is, especially as the public broadcaster, especially in morning radio. That's incredibly important.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC Vancouver inbox.
On October 20th, join CBC Vancouver's Leanne Young at the Big Sisters Soiree Gala, an evening for the community to come together celebrating mentorship and resilience of youth. And the Chutzpah Festival returns November 2nd to 23rd with an exciting lineup of performances including dance, music, theater, and more. Festival tickets at chutzpahfestival.com.
The weather update is brought to you by Direct Buy Furnace. To cool and clean the air in your home, call Direct Buy Furnace. Installing Trane, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Darius Madavi joins us now with a look at our full forecast. Darius, are we going to see some more sun in our future?
We are. Lots more sun right through the weekend. Probably not seeing any rain coming until next Monday, which I know is a holiday Monday, so I guess that's technically the weekend. But first, I want to talk about the drought levels because we actually had some improvement. No basin got worse this week, which was great news. We saw some of the lingering effects of the extreme rainfall we saw last week on the south coast, because we've seen that come down despite having not that much rain in the last week. So it's really the lingering effects of the previous real downpour that we had that's been being felt on the south coast. Meanwhile, all down the coast and in the southern interior, we've seen basins come down. So maybe some relief in sight, although last year when this happened, we got improvement for a little while and then things got worse again when we got another dry spell. So not out of the woods yet, but definitely some good news to have as we head into the fall proper. Now, as we see over the next 48 hours, very little rain across the province, staying totally dry because of a ridge of high pressure stretching across most of BC, a little bit making its way into the northwest, potentially into the northeast by the end of the 48-hour period, but really staying pretty dry across the province. Temperatures, though, are climbing as that ridge of high pressure locks some of the heat in place. So we're talking 5 degrees in the south to maybe 8 to 10 degrees above seasonal in the north. So very warm over the next few days. Temperatures come up tomorrow, come up more on Saturday. That's probably our peak, coming down a little bit in some places, but still playing pretty warm on Sunday. And then temperatures should really drop on Monday as we start to see some showers move in to the south and all down the coast. For tomorrow, though, nothing but sunshine in the forecast for the south. A little bit of cloud lingering up north, but that should start to clear out as the ridge continues to grow. It's already blocking those showers, but should clear out the cloud as well. And so here all we have is sun for the next few days. And then Thanksgiving Monday, maybe we start to see some rain that should linger into Tuesday and then maybe clear up again. It's a bit far out, but we'll check in again tomorrow.
Thanks so much, Darius.
Thanks, Janella.
That is your late news for this Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For news anytime, visit our website, cbc.ca/BC. Your next local news is on the early edition on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 5:30. Have a great night.